Alright, good evening everyone, coming to you from HOSS, the House of Sports Simulation in the Royal Arcade Timaru. I need some lovin', fetch me a cousin, we're off to Tasmania. Coming at you from Symonds Plains Raceway this week, just in a 5-minute qualifying session for our competitors, and then we'll be off for 15-minute sprint races. First race, as always, will be based on qualifying order. Follow-up race or just grid. So Symonds Plains Raceway, 2.4 kilometres, 1.5 miles. Motor racing circuit. Circuit. 7 bends, although corner 5 as they head down the back straight, much of a bend as pretty much they give it the jandle going along there. Racing the group touring cars once again. Luck would have it, as actually raced its lanes back in the day. So we can tell you what the current lap record is. It's a 58.51 set by the King of the Mountain, Peter Brock, the VH Holden Commodore SS. So you can watch a couple of Marlborough Holden dealer team Commodores racing this week. So if any of them can knock Peter Perfect off his perch with a 58.51 fastest lap. In qualifying, Braden Carroll's been into the 59s. I'm practicing earlier this evening, so we'll see what he can do in qualifying. Looking at Ray Cotton now in the 05 Marlborough Holden dealer team car. See if it's still got a 58.51 in it. Just to give you a bit of a guideline, some other lap records. Symonds Plains. Gentleman Jim Richards, the Flying Kiwi, in the Nissan Skyline GTR, holds the Group A lap record in March 1991. It was a 55.97. Another Kiwi, Richie Stanaway, the Formula Ford lap records in May 2009, a 55.3. Touring Car Masters, Steve Johnson, Ford Mustang Trans Am, set in May 25. 55.17, and the supercars, which, as you'll be aware, race at Symonds Plains. The supercars lap record set by Mark Winterbotham in the VK Commodore all the way back in 2019, a 51.2. Overall lap record though, those flying single-seaters, the S5000 cars, Joey Mawson did a 48.5 in February 2022. But watching this week's Creepsy touring car superstars put on their qualifying laps. So Braden Carroll has got into the 59s in qualifying. Blair Gabbardy's currently on a 1:02. Dylan Dalrymple, sorry, a 1.2. Blair Gabbardy's 1:09. Does a 1:04. Ray Cotton in the 05 car we were looking at earlier is a 1:01.2. Bartu a 1:01.4, and Chris Little currently on a 1:04.0. Over a minute left to go. Looking there at the very famous, very cambered hairpin at the end of the front straight, known as Bramble's hairpin. Passing opportunity at this circuit. Quite spectacular at the beginning of the race as cars try and make their way through there safely. Luckily there is a bit of runoff area there. Cars are fitted with reverse gears, of course, because we've seen some of the drivers practicing this evening needing to hook reverse and have another crack at Bramble's hairpin. The Gabbardy's in the Kmart Commodore, currently on 1:04. Third fastest provisionally. Ray Cotton in MS05 car. Chris Little in one of the Falcons. And number 20, spotted by the King George Tavern. Going through turns 1, 2 and 3, and then he'll head down the front straight off to Bramble's hairpin. Good now with Braden Carroll, originally on pole on a 59 8. A little bit wide out into the grass. Improve speed a little bit. Hold it all together. Coming down the start-finish straight. And there's R2. Roadways Commodore, number 6. Originally P3 on a 1 minute point. Fastest sector, he's on a good run. Falcon. That finished great. Hey, so it is our grid. Braden Carroll, Dylan Dalrymple on the front row. R2 Gabbities, Cotton Little. Watched the racing previously. Now it just a little bit of work to get these big touring cars off the line, bog down, or do 11s. Lights on, ready. 4, lights out, and away we go. Well, look at that. The South Canterbury Tyres Centre Commodore leaps away into the lead. Got car lengths already going into the second corner through turn 3. And Dalrymple got a very poor start in the XE Falcon. Off down to Brambles Hairpin. Passing opportunity there. Of room to get the cars side by side. But he's cross, keeps R2 behind him as they exit the hairpin. Get off down the back straight for the first time this evening. Racing conditions. Here we go. This is called turn 5, but it's pretty much handle pegged. There's a passing opportunity as they come into left-hander off the back straight. Harold Dalrymple come through. Finish straight. End of the very short first lap. Haynes Raceway all over the curb. Looks like Large gets out of shape. Roadways Commodore. Bit of drive. Little Cotton in the background. Holding down places P5 and 6. Race lead Braden Carroll takes high centre. So you can see Amber on the corner as the cars exit and off down the back straight once again. Falcon. Braden Carroll kept the field by 2 seconds after just a lap and a half. Making it left-hander. Apex. Turn 7. Finish lap 2. 10 minutes race from Haynes. Of a brake pinch there from Carroll at a moment. Couple of seconds. Of a chance. Side line heading into the hairpin, but he's too far back. As you can see, a couple of lines coming out of the corner there. Braden Carroll favouring the wide line, gets a faster exit. The Commodore heads off down the back straight. Dalrymple still in hot pursuit. There we go, a view out of the rear window of the race leader's Commodore. Over the ashtray spoiler there. Through turns 6 and 7 down the start finish straight once again. That lead was out to nearly 2.5 seconds. Dalrymple all over the bumper of the South Canterbury Tyres Centre Commodore. As they go through turns 1, 2 and 3 and head off down the front straight back into the Brambles hairpin. Hard on the brakes. Very short circuit. Simmons Plains is known to be hard on the brakes in these cars. Oh, Dalrymple now a second in arrears of the race leader. 2.5 back to Blair Gabbard, as you can see him there in the Kmart car. Latu on his tail in the Roadways Commodore. Back into turn 6. Oh, Dalrymple gets a little bit out of shape. Manages to gather it up, but he's going to lose a little bit of drive. Gabbardys wanted to join the party as well, and that's let pull Latu through in the Roadways car. So, fastest lap of the race so far. Braden Carroll, race leader. 1 minute 0.73. As we said while they were qualifying, the lap record currently a 58.51 for Group C cars, set by the King of the Mountain, Peter Perfect. They go into the braking zone once again. Brambles Hairpin. Here is Blair Gabbardys. Dropped a position with his little off-field excursion going through turn 6 and 7. He's now in hot pursuit of Paul Latu in the Roadways Commodore. Through that fast turn 5 on the limit of adhesion, then into the braking zone, turn 6. A puff of flame there out of the side exhaust. Latu's car. Once again, Gabbardys gets a little bit crossed up coming into turn 6 and loses drive off the corner. Takes the pressure off Latu. All that's been going on. Braden Carroll's managed to put in a 59.9, so he's under the 1 minute mark. The South Canterbury Tyres Centre Commodore. And Dalrymple looking down the road at him. What can he do to close that gap? 9.5 minutes left to go, so plenty of time on the clock. Braden Carroll just takes a little bit of the scenery there. Very tight line going through Brambles Hairpin. Heads off down the back straight once again through turn 5. Field starting to stretch out now. Just on the edge of adhesion there is race leader Braden Carroll. Manages to hold on to it though. Down the start finish straight. Into turn 1. Very tight turn 2. Of oversteer off the curb, then through the fast right-hander and heads off down the front straight to Brambles Hairpin. Gets into 4th gear, back down the cogs. Turns in. Oversteer off the corner, gets a good drive though. Into the South Canterbury Tyres Centre Commodore. Up through the gears once again, down the back straight. Cummins Plains. See the change light comes on as he hooks another cog. Okay, into the heavy braking zone. Turn 6. Idea this time for race leader Braden Carroll. Good drive out of turn 7. Going down the start finish straight once again. End another lap from Simmons Plains. Another fastest lap, 59.4. Braden Carroll. Dylan Dalrymple back to that 2.5 second gap behind the race leader. You can see Gabbardys now just on a second behind. Paul Latu trying to get that 3rd position. There is Latu coming off the hairpin and Blair Gabbardys in the Kmart Commodore. The closest action is at this point of the race. Halfway through. We did note from earlier weeks it took 3 or 4 laps for the cars to get their tyres into the operating window, and then in the last couple of laps of the race the tyres went off a bit as Gabbardys once again off at turn 6. Bogey corner for the Kmart car. That's taken the pressure off Paul Latu. We'll have to go eyes ahead and see if he can drive up onto the bumper of Dylan Dalrymple in the XE Falcon. Through Brambles once again. Nice turn in for Latu. No oversteer off the corner. Gets a good drive in the Roadways Commodore. Got that fast left-hander, turn 5. Head off down 2. Turn 6 once again. Nice tidy. Turn in. Keep speed up, just flips the ripple strip. Beats another lap. This Paul Latu. Oh, Dylan Dalrymple, what's he been up to? Well, he's let Braden Carroll drive another second down the road. There's the race leader. Fire smoke as he goes through the hairpin. Dylan gives the big 351 forward. Jandal coming off the hairpin. Down through turn 5. Oh, Latu, he's now got the gap under 2 seconds. Got his race face on. Plenty of time left on the clock. So getting a little bit loose in the rear end as Dylan Dalrymple turns into turn 5. That allows Latu to take another half a second or so out of his lead. Okay, through turn 1, which hardly matters, but turn 2 and 3. Very critical to get off turn 3 to get the run down the front straight into Bramble's hairpin. Puff of smoke out of the XE Falcon under brakes. Latu can sniff a bit of a chance here. Meanwhile, race leader Braden Carroll, he's got the lead out over 4.5 seconds. For the short circuit, it is keeping the cars reasonably compressed at the front of the field. And Latu, very smooth going through 6 and 7, gets a good run off the curve, coming down the start-finish straight. Turns 2 and 3. And you get that gap down to under a second. Get in Dylan's mirrors and unsettle his rhythm. Here we go into Bramble's hairpin. Once again, good exit off the curve in the roadways. Commodore trying to chase down that big Falcon. Head up to turn 5. Okay, into top gear they are. Into the braking zone. Down through the gears. See Latu. Body line once again. A bit of oversteer out of turn 7 for the Falcon. Latu now has just got that gap round to a second. Okay, into the tight. Turn 2. Rides the curb a little bit. Off Hunting Falcon. Oh, under 2.5 minutes left on the clock for race leader Braden Carroll. He's cleared away, he's got over 6 seconds. There is a view out of the back of the big XE Falcon of Dylan Dalrymple. Managed to grab a 10th off Paul Latu just to take the pressure off him a wee bit. Okay, 2 and 6. This is where Latu seemed to have the better of Dylan Dalrymple. Gets a smoother entry and exit off into 6 off 7. And 2, turn 3. You can see Latu takes a little bit of curb with the left-hand front wheel. And off down to Bramble's hairpin. Hard on the brakes for Dalrymple. Latu closes up under brakes. Just needs to get a good run off the curve here. Might give him an opportunity into turn 6. Falcon towing him all the way down the back straight at Symmons Plains. Now the gap's down to just half a second. Will be the last lap. Okay, into there's turn 1. Alright, turn 2. Atu doesn't ride the curve this time. What can he do on the final lap? Bit far back to do a bonsai move into the hairpin. Again, closes right up under brakes. Just grabs the left front. A little bit of tyre smoke there for the Roadways Commodore. Head off down the back straight. We can just see the race leader, Braden Carroll, disappearing out of shot. South Canterbury Tyre Centre Commodore. His race to lose. He's through turns 6 and 7. Okay. Dalrymple goes through, as does Latu. Here comes Blair Gabbardies, just running third earlier in the race, the K-Mark car. So into turn 6 and 7 for the last time in race 1 is Chris Little and Ray Cotton. Going to round out the field for the first race of the evening from Symmons Plains, Tasmania, Australia. Checkered flag. So race win once again to Braden Carroll, South Canterbury Tyre Centre Commodore. Have a good tyre sponsor. Plenty of rubber on the track. Oh, reverse good race now. Cotton and Little on the front row, then Gabbardies and Latu, Dalrymple and Carroll. Can they hook up off the line better for race 2? Okay, 3 lights, 4 lights. And away we go. Oh, the King George Tavern. Falcon gets a good run off the line. Cotton's very slow, gets a little nudge from behind from Gabbardies. Oh, he's out into the scenery as they go through turn 2. Little's going to lead them through, then Latu, Gabbardies, Carroll, Dalrymple. Cotton's going to be at the back of the field once he gets the 05 car up and running. Into Bramble's hairpin for the first time in race 2. Latu drives down the inside, takes the lead from Chris Little. Gabbardies gets spun around by Carroll. And Dalrymple goes through. So now Gabbardies pushed back to P5. Cotton in 6. Race leader is Paul Latu in the Roadways Commodore. For lap 1 in this 15-minute race 2 from Symmons Plains, Australia. The turn 6 and 7 goes Latu. Very quick through here in race 1. Braden Carroll, he's in the P3 in the South Canterbury Tyre Centre Commodore. Then Dalrymple, Cotton and Gabbardies. Okay, and 2. Turns 2 and 3. The Roadways Commodore of Latu. 1.3 seconds lead over Chris Little. Needs to try and get away, make a break over Braden Carroll, who will be trying to hunt that lead down. And Little keep Carroll behind him, not for long, he can't. Carroll goes through to take P2 in the South Canterbury Tyre Centre Commodore. Through turn 5 he goes, so now he's off hunting Paul Latu in the Roadways car. 2 seconds up the road. Dalrymple, P4, Gabbardies and Cotton 5 and 6. And the start finish straight. Race leader Paul Latu. Carroll 1.5 seconds in arrears as they cross the line. Little goes a little bit deep. Gets Dalrymple through. Oh, now Dalrymple up to P3. And the big Falcon, he heads off down to Brambles hairpin. Braden Carroll hunts down Paul Latu. Now got the gap down to 1 second already. They head off down the back straight through the fast right hand turn 5. Then braking into turn 6. Braking opportunity apparently if you're on someone's tail. You can get a good exit off turn 7 to go down the start finish straight. Oh, they go across the line. Carroll now got the lead down to just over half a second. There's Carroll riding the curbs through turn 2. In turn 3, both head off down to Brambles hairpin. Gapping the field already 5.5 seconds back to P3 at this early stage of the race. As Artu got the goods to hold on to that lead. Carroll doesn't need to take any risks. 7 minutes left to go in the race. Braking into turn 6. Car length in it. He gets a good drive off the curve. So Carroll takes a wider line. Gets more exit speed down the start finish straight. Can't do anything with it. Atu turns into turn 1. A 59.9 already from Braden Carroll. Atu goes wide. Lets Carroll through. That's all it took. So Braden Carroll got the South Canterbury Tyres Centre Commodore up to P1. R2 in the Roadways car back to P2. Gabbity's now up to P3 in the Kmart Commodore. That's the general. 1, 2, 3. In the back of shot there. Cotton and Dalrymple. Through the Campbell Brambles hairpin they go. Head off down the back straight. As the Falcon got more boogie in a straight line. Got the big 5.8 under the hood. The Cotton just sitting on the inside. There you go. It is a passing opportunity into turn 6. Cotton gets through on Chris Little. Moves the 05 Commodore up to 4th. Then Little and Dalrymple. Braden Carroll, he's pulled out 1.2 seconds over Latu. Big gap back to Gabbity's though. Ooh, don't know if there was a nudge there, but Little got out of shape. Going off turn 3. Dalrymple gets through, so now he's off chasing the 05 Commodore of Ray Cotton. Understeer there through the hairpin. There is the 05 machine, lap record holder of a 58.51 from Peter Perfect. Gabbity's goes through in the Kmart car in front of shot. Something's happening to Latu. Gabbity's is shutting down the gap quite dramatically. The Carroll, Latu, Gabbity's. 1, 2, 3. 8 minutes left to go from race 2. Got Dalrymple having a wee look down the inside of Cotton. He makes the pass into the hairpin. Pulls over, takes that position. So that puts Dalrymple up to P4. Pushes the 05 Marlborough Commodore back to 5th. Chris Little there in the background. King George Tavern Falcon. Oh, Cotton gets Good speed up through turn 5. Both get a little bit loose, but Cotton makes the better of it. Gets back up to P4 in the 05 Commodore. Little and fifth, Dalrymple now to the back of the field. Through the tightest part of the circuit. Turn 2 and then to the open right-hander turn 3 goes Ray Cotton. Heads down the front straight to the Brambles hairpin. See, just heading down the back straight already, that's Gabbardy's Kmart car. He's got to get 10 seconds up the road if he wants to do anything about Ulatu. Under 7 minutes left to go now for race 2. Gabbardy's move on up the road. On the start finish straight once again. Snip on the brake from the left hand side of the Kmart Commodore. How's it through turn 3? Front straight. But exit out of Brambles to head off down the back straight once again. Car 8, the Kmart Commodore. Lead up to Latu, it's just hanging around that 10.5 second mark. Latu over and race leader Aidan Carroll, who also took out race 1 this evening. Big carbureted V8. Another brake lock up there. Blair Gabbardy's. Oh, race leader Aidan Carroll in the South Canterbury Tyres Centre Holden Commodore. So carrying Cooper Tyres sponsorship. Up a flame out the exhaust, down through the gears. Through turn 6 and 7. A little bit of oversteer coming off turn 7 down the start finish straight. Another lap completed for the race leader. Latu in the background in the Roadways car. 4 seconds down the road. He's got it all to do. Of the Falcons. Dalrymple goes through the inside of Chris Little to take P5. Smooth exit out of turn 7 down the start from the straight. Urban drafting. Ward Falcon. King George Tavern sponsored car of Chris Little. Road we can see 05 Commodore of Ray Cotton. Less than 4 minutes left to go in race 2. Oh, and Dalrymple got 5 seconds to shut down Ray Cotton if he wants that position. 2.5 minutes left to go in the race, so it's going to be a tall order. A bit of oversteer into turn 6. Big Falcon. Out to the kiddie litter. That's going to give Chris Little a chance. Dalrymple get the Commodore up to speed before Chris is on the scene in the King George Tavern car. Very wide line there for Chris Little. Gives away a second or so to Dylan Dalrymple. He's heading on up the road. Back a shot there. Race leader Braden Carroll. Going down the front straight into Impulse Hairpin. Now got his lead out to 6 seconds over Paul Artu. VK Commodore. Gabberty. Front straight into Hairpin himself. Looks like we will have 2 laps left to go for the race leader, South Canterbury Tyre Centre, Holden Commodore. A bit of showboating now off turn 2 for Braden Carroll. Doesn't want to loop it up. A nice tight line through the Campbell's hairpin. Down the back straight he goes. Through the gears. With the fast right-hander, turn 5. Going into turn 6. Bit of oversteer. Start finish straight. 1 lap left to go for the race leader. Okay, turn 1, turn 2. Of oversteer out of turn 2 into turn 3. All over the steering wheel, but he's gathered it up. Heads off down the front straight. Okay, on the brakes, into brambles, down through the gears. Quite a lot of oversteer this time. Off the brambles hairpin. Down the back straight he goes. For the last time in race 2. On the brakes, into turn 6. 2 corners from home. Nice drift onto the start finish straight for the winner. 2 from 2 this evening for Braden Carroll and the South Canterbury Tyre Centre Commodore. Paul Artu takes a well-earned second in the Roadways Commodore car number 6. Gabberty's going to make it 3 on the podium for the General. That's the Kmart Commodore number 8. Ray Cotton, he's going to bring home the Marlborough Holden dealer team car. P4. Dylan Dalrymple's going to be first for the Falcons. And Chris Little is going to round out the field. King George Tavern Falcon. Oh, congratulations, Braden Carroll, 2 from 2. Now have a short interlude and come back for our second qualifying session of the evening. Okay, so welcome once again from the House of Sports Simulation, Royal Arcade, Timaru. Qualifying session 2 from Symonds Plains, Tasmania. So far this evening, if you've been watching Braden Carroll in the South Canterbury Tyres Centre Commodore, he's taken 2 wins, put it on pole. See what these peddlers can do in their second 5-minute qualifying session for the evening, which will set the grid for race 3. Then we'll have a reverse grid race 4. 2.4 kilometres, just under 1.5 miles. Symonds Plains track opened in 1960. Earlier on did let you know what some of the lap records were, but if you weren't tuned in, the Group C lap record, that is what Braden Carroll has been chasing this evening. Braden's done a 59, but the king of the mountain, Peter Perfect, did a 58.51 all the way back in March 1984. That's the lap record Braden Carroll will be chasing in the South Canterbury Tyre Centre Commodore, which is a sister car to the Marlborough Holden dealer team machines. You can just see Dylan Dalrymple in the background there getting a little bit squirrely, coming off turn 3 and heading on to the start finish straight in the heavily cambered turn 4. Brambles hairpin. Then Dylan Dalrymple opens up that big 5.8 litre Ford V8. Head through the fast left-hander turn 5 and into turn 6 and 7, which have caught some of the drivers out in the first half of the evening. And Dalrymple gets through there reasonably nicely. A little bit of grass on the exit of the corner. Heads off down the start-finish straight to finish the lap. Braden Carroll already into the 59s, a 59.16. He wants that lap record. Ray Cotton in the 05 Commodore, followed by Paul Artu. Had a good P2 in race 2. Okay, just getting a little bit tight there off the hairpin. Remember, you're not racing, boys. You just want to set the fastest time you can. Leave each other to your own devices in the qualifying session. The Gabaties and the Kmart Commodore come off a P3, race 2. You get down into the 1 minutes, just over, I don't know, 101.003, the P2. Dylan Dalrymple provisionally P3, which is doing quite well because the Commodores have dominated Tasmania. Carroll 59.168, hasn't gone any faster. Out on the brakes and Brambles hairpin. Gets the left wheel in the air a little bit there on the turn in. Good exit, carrying that speed all the way down the back straight, which is interrupted by that fast right-hander turn 5. Of qualifying. Officially on pole once again, Braden Carroll. In car 46. Doesn't go any quicker on that lap. And Dalrymple puts his Falcon provisionally into P2. Latu go any faster? No, he doesn't, so Big Gavity's provisionally 3rd. Chris Little and the King George Tavern Falcon. Comes off turn 7 down the start finish straight. Does he go any faster? No, 2-3. Fastest first sector for Braden Carroll. Gets a little bit loose coming off turn 7. Compromises speed down the start finish straight. Scrubs that lap. That Blair Gabbardies, can he go faster? He can. He goes provisionally on the front row with a 1.1. So that looks like it's going to set the grid. Carolyn Latu on the front row. And Gabbardies Dalrymple on row 2 with Cotton and Little out of row 3. Okay, race 3 from Symmons Plains. Who can get there? Green car off the start line. Okay, waiting for the lights. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're away once again. Braden Carroll gets the 46 car hooked up. Away he goes. Looks like Gabbardies also gets a good launch off the line, but Latu takes the inside line going into turns 2 and 3. He's going to hold the position for now as they head off down the front straight into Brambles Hairpin. Further back we've got Cotton in 4, then Dalrymple, Chris Little at the back of the field, and the King George Falcon. Well, Dalrymple just having a look down the inside of Cotton into the hairpin. He makes it stick. It's a good couple of car lengths out of the hairpin. He's got up to P4. Meanwhile, Braden Carroll, pole sitter, got it cleared out to a second already as they head into the braking zone for turn 6. Gabbardies is on the bumper of Paul Latu in the Roadways car. Out of turn 7 they go. Get a good run off the curb down the start finish straight. That is the end of the first lap from race 3 for Braden Carroll. Lock up there for Blair Gabbardies in the Kmart car. Out of turn 3 he goes. We can see Dalrymple there in the background. There's Cotton. There's Little in the King George Tevin Falcon. All down the front straight they go, breaking into Brambles once again. With that nice ambered hairpin. Out of the curb they go. Commodores dominating here at Symmons Plains. Gabbardies under half a second off the bump Roadways car. Turn 6 and 7. Again, would run at a turn 7 down the start finish straight. Commodores take a bit of curb. Go looking at the back of the Gabbardies Kmart car. Dylan Dalrymple back to P4. Braking into the hairpin. On the brakes, down through the gears. He nudged there, is it? Not quite, but Dalrymple trying to sneak through on the inside. Looks like Gabbardies is going to get the better run though, out of the hairpin. Have the inside line going through the big right-hand turn 5. So what can Dalrymple do at the end of the straight into turn 6? Places his car on the inside. Nope. You do the up and under. Oh! Gabbardies gets a little bit loose. Goes into the side of Latu. That costs us a place now. Dalrymple trying to get up to P2 in the Falcon. No way through. Latu goes a little bit deep, gets that onto the grass. That lets Dalrymple through up to P2. Looks like Gabbardies is going to go through for some of that action as well. That pushes Latu second back to 4th within 2 corners. And they head off into the braking zone. Oh, Gabbardies gives Dalrymple a little bit of a love tap in the braking zone. atmosphere in sim racing. Down the back straight once again. So now it's Carroll, Dalrymple, Gabaldese. Just see Latu there in P4. There's Cotton in the 05 car. Just a little bit further back down the field in the King George Tavern Falcon. Dalrymple. Now got Henry up into second place. And he drive away from the Kmart car of Gabaldese. Fastest lap in race 3 to the race leader, Braden Carroll. A 59.2. Still got 7 tenths though if he wants that lap record. Down the front straight goes second, third and fourth. You can see race leader Braden Carroll just coming out of shot. In the South Canterbury Tyre Centre Holden Commodore. 05 car coming through view, that's Ray Cotton. Marlborough Holden dealer team machine. Oh, Dalrymple able to put nearly a second there, Gabaldese. You could hope for Latu gets up onto the back of Gabaldese, that could slow down those two. Take the pressure off Dalrymple. A little bit faster once again, Braden Carroll, 59.27. Oh, a little bit loose there. Gabaldese goes off into the scenery. It lets Latu free to try and chase down Dylan Dalrymple. Cotton goes through for fourth. Gabaldese now back to P5 in the Kmart car. Oh, Latu had a strong P2 in race 2. He'd get up onto the bumper of Dylan Dalrymple. Through turn 5, right hand sweeper. Into turns 6 and 7. Latu's been very tidy through here earlier this evening. Dalrymple. Good run out of turn 7. Down the start, finish straight. Into turns 2 and 3. Widest part of the circuit. Opens up down the front straight. To turn 4, the hairpin. Race leader. Half seconds up the road. Okay. Gabaldese now. Ooh, just about into the back of the 05 Commodore. Plays it safe this time. It's off down the back straight. Tenths of a second in arrears. Oh, Gabaldese can show a good turn of car speed. As the odd error through turn 6 and 7. A good run out of 7. Come down the start, finish straight. Okay, into turns 2 and 3. Really not much of a passing opportunity through here. All happens down into the hairpin though. But he's not really close enough on this pass. Make something stick. And places the car well, gets a good run out of the hairpin. Heads off down the back straight once again, leading there Gabaldese, 7 tenths of a second in arrears. To the right hand, sweeper turn 5. The brakes they go into turn 6, then 7. Through the gears, completes another lap. Over 6.5 minutes left to go in the race for the race leader, Braden Carroll. Over 7.5 seconds ahead of P2, Dylan Dalrymple. Oh, Latu. 2 seconds for that, get up to that second spot. There is Paul R2 at number 6 Roadways Commodore. Alan Grice later on in the Group A Chickadee Commodore took out a Bathurst win when the Group A came along. Off turn 7 he goes. Taking 3/10 of a second out of Dylan Dalrymple on that lap. Turns 2 and 3. A bit of a correction on the steering wheel there. Ebedes still trying to get past Ray Cotton. Head off down the start finish straight once again. Over 5 seconds left on the clock. Enough time. Make something happen. Oh, big punt there. Hey, Cotton keeps off for now though. Marlborough Holden Dealer Team Machine. Off down the back straight once again. The little heading down the front straight into the hairpin. XE Falcon. This battle for half a second in it is R2. He's had a moment. He's dropped 2 seconds to the second place man, Dylan Dalrymple. Hey, has Gabbardy's got anything in his bag of tricks? Ooh, deep into the hairpin he goes. Too deep. Cotton takes the position back. It costs Gabbardy's a few car lengths. P5. Have to come up with a different trick. That's also putting a bit of undue stress on the tyres. So Braden Carroll was telling us in the break that the front tyres don't really go off too badly, but near the end of the race, the last few laps, the end gets a little bit squirrely when you give it the jandle. You can overheat the rear tyres. There Gabbardy's just pinching the brakes there in the Kmart car. Allowed Ray Cotton to pull out another 3 or 4 tenths. 3 minutes left to go on the clock. Idea pass through the hairpin that time for Kmart Commodore. Over a second up the road to the 05 car of Ray Cotton. Both cars there don't get a very good entry into turn 6. There Gabbardy's though makes the worst of it, goes out onto the grass, so that's going to take the pressure off Ray Cotton for now. Minutes 20. Run down on the clock. Here Gabbardy's do anything. Back under second for the gap. Tidy exit off the hairpin for both drivers. Head off to the next passing opportunity for Blair Gabbardy's. Too far back now. Nips the brake once again in the Kmart Commodore. A little bit loose coming off turn 7. That's going to cost him some drive over the start finish straight. Meanwhile, race leader Braden Carroll, 7 seconds over Dylan Dalrymple. Falcon in P2. Lap and a half left to go. This race. 3. Here's Latu. He's over 6 seconds further back. Not going to be able to take a P2 this time. Meanwhile, Ray Cotton, he's keeping Blair Gabbardy's second behind him at the last stage of the race. Has to keep ahead of him for one more lap. Turn 7 they go. And Ray Cotton, keep Blair behind him for another 2.4 Ks. We're about to find out. All goes a little bit deep into turn 2. That allows Blair Gabbardy's to get within a car length. Blair could have an opportunity here. Coming on down to the Brambles hairpin. So Ray Cotton's just got to place his Commodore. Oh, he's not going to get the opportunity. Blair Gabbardy's gives him a punt. That might be the last opportunity, but here we go. Braden Carroll's going to make it 3 from 3 in car 46, the South Canterbury Tyres Centre Commodore. Dylan Dalrymple, he gets the big Falcon up to P2. Latu, going to be the last place on the podium. Number 6, Roadways Commodore. Ray Cotton's going to take a well-deserved 4th. The Marlborough Holden Dealer Team 05 car. Gabbardy goes through 4P5. And we've got the King George Tavern Ford Falcon of Chris Little. Oh, 3 from 3 this evening for Braden Carroll. Can he make it 4 from 4? We're about to find out. He's starting off the back row of the grid. Front row, Little and Gabbardy's, then Cotton and Latu, Dalrymple and Carroll. 15 minutes to glory. Okay, lights are on. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're away for race 4 this evening from the House of Sports Simulation, Royal Arcade, Timaru. Racing coming to you from Simmons Players Australia. A little bit of argy-bargy through turns 2. All settles down. Carroll already up to P3 off the back of the grid. But it's going to be Gabbardy's leading Cotton into the hairpin for the first time. Dalrymple just trying to having a look down the inside of Chris Small with 3 abreast going into the hairpin. Dalrymple gets his nose in front up to P4. Looks like Latu though's got a better drive off the hairpin. He's going to have the inside line going through the right hand turn 5 sweeper. If Dalrymple can stay there, they will have the inside line into the braking zone of turn 6. Can he keep the Falcon in a line? He can. Good pass there from Dylan Dalrymple to take P4 off Paul Latu. Through turn 7 they go. Start finish straight for the first time in race 4. So Gabbardy's Cotton Carroll. The Commodores at the front, different Commodores though. Cotton holding down a good P2 at this early part of the race. Here Gabbardy's just making the most of his opportunity to get a few car lengths up the road. Oh, bit of a nudge there from Braden Carroll on Cotton. Exit the hairpin cleanly and head off down the back straight once again through the right hand turn 5 sweeper. Gabbardy's Cotton, Carroll, Dalrymple, Latu, Chris Little and the King George Tavern Falcon. Okay, into the braking zone they go. Very deep goes Ray Cotton, hitting Braden Carroll through on the inside. Cotton's out in the grass, as is Dylan Dalrymple in the big Falcon. So Gabbardy's still the race leader. Then Carroll. Cotton holding down P3, but he's got Latu all over the back of him in the Roadways Commodore. out of turn 2 into turn 3, and then they head off down the start-finish straight towards the Brambles hairpin. See the two Falcons now at the back of the feed, Dalrymple and Little. Okay, into the braking zone. Good exit from Gabbities and Carroll. Cotton goes through in the 05 car, as does Latu in car 6. On the back straight once again. And Carroll 6/10 off the bumper of Blair Gabbities in the number 8 VK Commodore. The braking zone they go for turn 6. Braking Carroll, there's a lot more entry speed into turn 6. Out of 7 they go to complete another lap. 4/10 between the two front runners. Brake smoke out of both cars into turn 2. And off turn 3 through the right hand sweep and down the front straight once again. Carroll looking left and right, trying to unsettle Blair Gabbities. Here's a look round the outside. 2 lines through the corner. Does the old up and under. Oh, though, gets loose coming out of the hairpin. Just to take the foot out of it and put the throttle down once again when he gathers it up. And that gives the Gabbities a couple of tenths breathing space as they head off down the back straight. There's Cotton holding down P3 in the 05 Commodore. Then Latu, P4 on the Roadways machine. He's got Dalrymple in his rear view mirrors. Turn 7 goes aces 3, 4 and 5. Braden Carroll doing a 59.4. It's got less than a second to the lap record of Peter Brock. Three tenths up the road is that first place. Braden Carroll looking to make it 4 from 4. Tidier exit out of the hairpin this time for Braden Carroll in car 46. Still in hot pursuit of Blair Gabbities. Needs to hang up with him going through the turn 5 sweeper and into the braking zone of turn 6. Takes a wider entry into the corner, then just tries to get a good run out of 6 into 7. Much of an opportunity though into turn 1. However, it doesn't matter. Gabbities goes too deep. Oh, also Braden Carroll gets a little bit loose out of turn 2, but manages to gather it up, keep that lead. So that pushes Gabbities back to P2 in the Kmart car. Cotton's still running in third in the 05 machine. There's Latu. Latu's got Dalrymple over his bumper. Dalrymple just has a look down the inside into the braking zone of the hairpin. Oh, he goes too deep, gives Latu a little bit of a nudge. Doesn't redress though. Leaves Latu back in P5. So we'll have to see if our driving standards adjudicator has a little bit of a look at that later on. For now, Dylan Dalrymple has the Falcon in 4th. Latu 5th. Chris Little in the King George Tavern holding down 6th. From Simmons Plains. Okay, into turns 2, then 3. Latu get onto the bumper of Dalrymple and pull off a passing manoeuvre. Had a second and a third for Latu in the earlier races this evening. Break into Brambles hairpin. Nice run. The exit. And the long sweeping back straight. .8 litre roar. Flame out the left exhaust as it goes down through the gears. 59.1 for Braden Carroll. Race leader. He's not that far away from dipping his toes into the 58s. 6 tenths of a second though to take that record off Peter Brock. Okay, through the right hand sweep of turn 3 goes Dylan Dalrymple, trying to hunt down Ray Cotton. The 05 Commodore. Okay, good exit off the hairpin for both drivers. Carry that speed all the way down the back straight. Aidan Carroll, he's got his lead out now to nearly 5 seconds over the Kmart car of Blair Gabbardies. A half race distance completed for the race leader. They off turn 7. Down the start finish straight once again. Car length and a half in it. Been third and fourth. Notice Cotton seems to get a good run out of turn 3. Good turn and an exit out of the hairpin for both drivers. Here's Lato in the background. Down the road from Dylan Dalrymple. He's not out of the action either. Just see Blair Gabbardies disappearing up the road in the Kmart car. Ooh, bit twitchy there for the 05 car under braking. Ray Cotton keeps a handle on it though. Heads off down the start finish straight once again. Dalrymple closing right up under brakes. Ed Cotton seems to get a good exit out of there lane turn 3 though. Carroll's had a moment. He's let Gabbardies through. Ooh. A little bit crossed up under brakes coming into the hairpin. Blair Gabbardies now. 2.5 second lead over Braden Carroll on the 46 South Canterbury Tyre Centre Commodore. That's not to the script according to Braden Carroll. He'll be wanting that position back. 5 minutes left on the clock though, so plenty of time to make something happen. Blair Gabbardies hold on and take one win away from Braden Carroll. And Tasmania, let's wait and see. Two and a half seconds as they cross the line. Oh, Dalrymple gets a little bit out of shape going into turn 2. Ladu gets a good run. Can he carry that speed all the way down to Bramble's hairpin and make the pass? This time. This bumper though. Get a good exit and carry that speed down the back straight. He might be able to make something interesting happen into turn 6. Allowed Cotton to allowed a couple of tenths to conserve his provisional third place on the podium. 6 and 7 they go. Three and a half minutes left in the race for the race leader. Oh, see Cotton getting up over the curves and unsettling the car through turn 1. Dalrymple closing once again. Aidan Carroll just under 1.5 seconds behind race leader Blair Gabbardies. Race leader. Minutes left on the clock. Aidan Carroll will be wanting to take a clean sweep this evening. Got a couple of laps left to do something about it. There, Gabbities goes deep into turn 2. Compromise his entry and exit through turn 3. Slow him down, coming down the front straight. Into the braking zone for hairpin. Braden Carroll now, he's got the gap down to less than a second. Also looks like Dalrymple's just having a look down the inside of Cotton. Cotton closes the door. Not this time, my friend, he says. Meanwhile, Latu's got on the bumper of the Commodore as well, the Falcon, sorry, as well. Action happening in the last couple of laps of race 4. Nice tight line from race leader Blair Gabbities. In Carroll giving him the hustle out of turn 7. To a passing opportunity through turns 2 and 3, but Carroll just trying to get on the passenger side of the Kmart Commodore so he'd have the inside entry into the hairpin. Yeah, Gabbities knows what his cunning plan is. Gabbities keeps a nice tight line through the hairpin. Oh, Carroll gives him a tap and spins him round. Carroll's going to redress though. Get Gabbities back through. He needs to be careful because the other cars aren't that far behind. No. Carroll says sorry, you've taken your time. It's going to let Dalrymple get through on Gabbities. He's going to have the inside line into turn 6. He's already made the pass before they get there. So Dalrymple up to P2. One lap to go as they cross the line. Getting very exciting at the end of race 4. There's 2, 3, 4, 5. They're nose to tail across the start-finish line as they start the last lap. Into turns 2 and 3 they go. Down the front straight. Braden Carroll. He's managed to get the field already after taking that position back. See out the back of Dalrymple's car as they go into the hairpin. Latu, he's right on the bumper of Gabbities. Dalrymple gets a good drive out of the hairpin in the big Falcon. Well, Latu looks like he's trying to have a look around the outside of Gabbities. Gabbities moves over. And Latu make a dive down the inside into turn 6. No, he's outside on the grass. I wouldn't say that's the fastest way round. Goes too deep, so that's his opportunity gone. Cotton's going to take that position in the 05 car. Puts Cotton up to 4th. And Braden Carroll will make it 4 from 4 in the South Canterbury Tyres Centre Commodore. Dylan Dalrymple goes through 2 seconds in a row for the Falcon. Gabbities will go through 3rd in the end. Then Cotton. Latu's 5th. And Chris Little will be P6 in the King George Falcon. Oh, exciting last couple of laps there from Simmons Plains. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you all next week.